It's 18:30 GMT and this is MX24 News coming to you live from the Silicon Square here at East Legon in Accra. My name is Godwin Nambu. Three big stories today. Now, floods in the capital city of Ghana. Any solution in sight? We'll be speaking with the duty bearers and experts. Also, in the era of murders and attacks on politicians, is the center of our security still holding, or this is a story of things fall apart? We'll get more into it. Also coming up, free public health care, doable or not feasible? The yesayers and the naysayers will be joining us here for the discussion. I'll be doing this with my colleague Efwa Evans-Chenery. We're standing by with the major stories of the day.
In our very first story, the Free Senior High School Secretariat says the COVID-19 pandemic has distorted their plans for the year. It, however, notes that despite this reality, the delay allowed for extra time to enable them complete infrastructural projects towards the free SHS policy. In an interview with MX24 News, the deputy coordinator for the policy, Nanama Timabwachi, said over 1,000 classrooms and dormitories are currently at various stages of completion.
Because the academic calendar has had to move from starting in September to starting in January. That's notwithstanding, it has been, we could say, a blessing in disguise because we've had time to complete a lot of the infrastructure work that was ongoing. If the students had gone to school in September, there would have been a finite number of buildings that would have been completed. But having an additional 2-3 months gives us more time to finish more classrooms and dormitories. I know that by December, January, by the time the first years are going in, we'll be able to win a lot more schools off the double track because more infrastructure would have been completed by then. I know we have about 1,000 classrooms and dormitories, and there are various stages of completion, so I won't be able to say that we'll have 10 more dormitories or 20 more dormitories completed, no. But I know work is seriously ongoing in the schools, and we should have made progress by the time school reopens.
One person has been arrested in connection with the attack of the family members of Takonsuayim MP George Mrekuduka. 2 members of his family suffered severe cutlass wounds. One is in critical condition while the other is responding to treatment. The cause of the attack has not been confirmed, but the MP has linked it to a protracted chieftaincy dispute at Dumping, his hometown. But police say the incident has no links to chieftaincy disputes. Western Regional Police Public Relations Officer ASP Olivia Adiku has been speaking with MX24 News.
Currently, the suspect, Robert Ayew, also known as Jato, has been arrested. He's in police custody. This morning, I spoke with the divisional commander. The victim, Isaka Dauda, has been discharged from hospital. He is supposed to report this morning for review. In pieces in Dumping this morning, the officers have been there. The area is calm. People are going about their business. So I want to give them the assurance that we are there for all.
Now, the Ghana Water Company Limited has begun spilling excess water from the Wager Dam. This follows 2 days of heavy downpour in parts of the capital city and the central region. The development caused the Wager Dam to exceed its limit. Ghana Water is in a statement asking residents of Bawe, McCarthy Hills and the environs to move to safety pending the spillage. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Ayew, so some residents have accused Member of Parliament for the area, Lydia Al-Hassan, of delaying in dredging a major drainage, which they say contributed to the floods in the community. And finally, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is cautioning against the illegal importation of ammunition into the country. This follows the confiscation of some 436 pistols, 26 packs of 50 pieces of ammunition and pepper spray at the Tema port on Friday. A statement signed by Florence Asante, Assistant Commissioner in charge of Communication and Public Affairs, said after examination, 18 packages identified as restricted items were found in the container. The statement further added that the weapons are being kept at the armory of the GRA as investigations continue. So these are details of our headline story. We now join Godwin Nambo for analysis of these stories. Godwin.
Many thanks, Efwa Chinnery Evans. Efwa Evans Chinnery, I changed your name. You're still watching MX24 News. Now I'll be delving into some of these major stories making news in Ghana. Also remember, we are very active on social media. I would like to hear from you. So do send us your thoughts on our stories today on Twitter and Facebook at MX24GH. When we return, we'll be delving straight into the stories. Please stay.
Shop online, get free swipes, and enjoy greater security with a card that turns banking on its head. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
They say it's the little things that count. The things we shouldn't take for granted. Like being able to have a warm shower. Oh, how about some tea, my dear? And cooking with ease. How about being able to invite friends over so confidently? Sharing the food, just chilling over a few drinks, watching movies. It's just, what's the word? Comfortable. I could go on and on and on and on, but we both know what I'm driving at. It's life's affordable luxuries, and it's the heartbeat of every home. It's simple. It's NASCO. Bring home happiness.
And welcome back to the Evening News Live, coming to you from the Silicon Square here in East Legon, Accra, with me, Godwin Nambo. Now, parts of the Greater Accra and Central region were submerged in floods after 2 days of torrential rains on Saturday, October 10 and Sunday, October 11, 2020. The floods displaced hundreds of residents in areas like Odorna, Weja, Domi, Legon, and Ayew, among others. Meanwhile, Ghana Meteorological Agency has warned of more rains ahead and possibly more floods if things remain unchanged. The question is, are we waiting till these rains come before we find a permanent solution? My colleague Efwa Evans Chinnery is here with some infographic on Accra's flooding situation since 1995. Efwa, take us through.
1995. Let's check out what's been happening since 1995. So, in 1995, Accra and Axim floods, the first major flood Ghana recorded under the Fourth Republic, happened around 1995 and destroyed lots of properties in areas like Odorna, Alajo, Nima, Adabaka, and Axim. In 1997, in June 1997, it rained for 2 consecutive days, which caused major roads in the capital to flood. Major rivers like the Odo and Onyanasia overflowed their banks. And in 1999, 5 regions flooded. Flood hit 5 regions, which displaced close to 300,000 people. Regions affected were Upper West, Upper East, Northern, Bunu Ahafo, and the Volta region. In 2001, Medina, Chimotojolu, Veno, Santa Maria, and the Dabraka official towns were all flooded. Residents had to climb trees while some stood on their rooftop. You remember that one?
Yes, when
You're doing that in
remember.
2001. you don't remember. In 2007, over 300,000 Ghanaians affected. Floods once again hit 3 regions, the northern region, the upper west, and east regions, affecting 370,127 people. That's in 2007. Let's move to 2010. Part of Accra and Begro in the eastern region flooded after 2 hours of rainfall. Homes and properties were all destroyed. Also, 35 people were killed. In 2011, residents for Adabraka, Kisiman, Alajo Junction, Santa Maria, Oyarifa Hacho, Adenta, and Tema Timber Market were all submerged underwater. Also, 5 people were killed and about 105 farmers were affected in a Tiwa district. By November, the death toll had increased to 14, with 43,087 people displaced. In 2013, once again, around May 2011, morning rains flooded areas like Nkrumah Circle, Dakuman, Kokumpe, Obichebi, Lamte roundabouts, part of Graphic Road, Santa Maria, and then Dansuman. In 2015, on June 3, Ghana recorded the worst flood disaster after a combination of floods and fire killed 154 people at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. That one you remember, don't you?
Very well.
Yes,
very
and in
well.
2016, 1 year after the June 3 disaster, another flood happened affecting hundreds of residents. In 2017, a 59-year-old woman who was driving at Gariba Lodge in the northern region was carried by flood waters on her way to pick her child from school. In 2018, a 32-year-old medical doctor at the Ridge Hospital and 6 other people died after heavy rains flooded some parts of the country. Around September 2018, 34 died in the northern region as a result of the spillage of the Bagur Dam. In 2019, a total of 156,161 people were affected by flood in the Greater Accra region in 2018. And in 2020, parts of Greater Accra and Central regions have been flooded. That's what we're going to talk about. After a heavy downpour in the early hours of Saturday and Sunday, residents in affected areas such as Accra and Kaswa were seen salvaging what was left of their property to higher ground after flood water entered their homes. So that's...
This has been very persistent.
Yes, it
very,
has.
very persistent over the years. You know, successive governments have tried to solve it. They don't seem to get a hand on it. And what is quite interesting for me is that there's one area that keeps recurring in all these years.
Which
and
area?
it's
The circle?
Aveno. No, it's
Oh,
Aveno,
Aveno.
where
Yes.
I grew up.
Oh, really?
And I have a fond memory of how my dad used to carry me on his shoulders.
That's close to circle. Oh, okay.
Right. How my dad used to carry me on his shoulders, fleeing the flood. It's
Okay.
amazing. Now, from what has been viewed, it is established that the flooding situation has become worrying and we should find answers to them. Joining us to find those answers is Mr. Charles Ayew. He's an architect and an urban planner, as well as a senior lecturer at the Department of Architecture at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST. Hello, Mr. Ayew.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on MX24 News. Mr. Ayew, many have attributed causes of these floods to the way the city of Accra was planned. How important is the layout of buildings and other structures to the flooding discussion?
Well, thank you for having me. And it's very good you give a background to this discussion. And if you look at over the years, it has always been the same story, and people die. Unfortunately, your analysis should have ended with how many top decision makers were affected. Virtually none. Yes. Because you see, you plan cities, you apply regulations for the good of society. And these regulations are made, we are not following them. And so wet areas that hitherto should collect all our water are being built on drainage or waterways that should be widened and dredged are all silted because of our landscape that we have in our neighborhoods and communities. So all these disasters are man-made, and which one thing should be clear, with climate change, with America saying that there's nothing like that, or Donald Trump to be specific, it is a real fact. The evidence is there, and it's scientific. And so those who are going to have rains are going to have large volumes of rain within a short time, and those who are not going to have rains are not going to have rains for a very long time. That is how we are going to live for a while until we change our attitude. Human beings left to operate on their own. Soon one day you find in the middle of motorway somebody is excavating and building his building there because we are selfish by nature. The only way we can get good built environment is when we obey the rules or when the rules are enforced. And when these disasters happen, it will be those that we can only see that they are natural disasters. But these ones are not natural disasters. There are engineering solutions to fix them, but the political way is just not there. It's just not there.
Now, Mr. Ayew, I was moving on to ask you my second question, which is who is to blame for this? But you already mentioned that the people at the top don't get affected when these floods come in.
I don't blame the politicians. I blame the citizenry. Because you see, yes, the citizenry, if all of us, look at what has happened in America when you say Black Lives Matter, it's making a big change. If we can also get up and say that Kokompe life also matters, and we ourselves will obey the rules, the politicians will follow, because the politicians are thinking about their job. And so actions that they should take to make good to society, they know it, but they won't do it because the larger population or their opponents will use it against them, knowing that that's good effect that it offers all of us. Yet they are going to lose votes because the people are ignorant. And that's why I said the ignorant are in the end the sufferers. And those ignorant people are the people who also give power to the people who are the top who should make that decision, who are not affected anyway when these things happen, because they are also on highlands.
Mr. Ayew, but we live in a country where people only sit up and do the right thing when they see law enforcement agents. How is this situation going to be solved if we only depend on law enforcers? I think the blame should be somehow put on government.
You are writing an equation like this, that students should be honest when they are writing their exams. And so we should not give them invigilators. That will never happen, because in the course of they being forthright, there are still potential that men by our nature and the way we are born and raised all over the world, no Ghanaians, we have the tendency to do wrong things more than the right things. And the only way most people will do the right thing is because of the repercussion. Now, if there are no repercussions for me, or in the end I can go and cry and pretend I belong to party A or B, definitely I will behave that way. Okay? So the leaving it for society to see that this is wrong, I should not do it. We have not gotten there yet as a society. Great cities all over the world, not a single one was built with the kind of democracy we are proud.
Well, Mr. Ayew, lastly, as a planner, really, if we don't take care, we'll continue having this discussion year on year. What concrete measure can be put in place to correct the situation? I think we lost Mr. Ayew there. Now, Mr. Charles Ayew is an architect and urban planner, and also a senior lecturer at the Department of Architecture at KNUST. Now, we cannot complete this. You heard what he said.
Of course I did. You remember that in our earlier discussion I was talking about indiscipline. I think indiscipline on our part as well.
But you have the citizens blaming government for not making available, proper drainage systems, not providing enough lavatory systems for areas like the slums, So you find them defecating, for instance, in the Odor River and throwing rubbish into the river because they don't have any options. So if I think this conversation will keep going on and on and on.
But in my interview with Okuvandapo, I told you that he mentioned that we have to find the resources. Government needs to get the resources to, put all of these things together.
So we'll listen to a conversation my colleague Efwa Evans Chinnery had with Alfredo Kovandapoy.
I want to find out from you, what do you think accounts for the major flooding every year, despite numerous efforts by successive governments to solve the issue?
In order to care of the flooding situation in Accra, there is a need for us as a country to ensure that we have put physical washing on the ground. And then there should be some activities which is done, periodically to ensure that we open our waterways so that water will run through the city to the appropriate place, which is the ocean. Right now, when one looks at the situation on the ground, the Kole is choked. The patient is no more. The Chemu is choked. So these are three major outlets where normally the water will run finally and then get into the ocean. All these outlets are choked. So when it starts raining and it starts coming down and getting to Accra, there is no outlet for the water to run out. Secondly, our drains in Accra today have outlived their usefulness. And until we come to a point where we will reconstruct our drains and make sure we widen them up and open them up and maintain them, we will continue to have problems.
Do you think that we have the resources to tackle this challenge?
Well, as a nation, if we see this as a major challenge, then we must take care of it, because every year we lose lives. Understand? So I believe that it should be one of our priority areas to find the money and to do the needful. The Kole Lagoon ought to be dredged every year continuously. We must dredge the Kole Lagoon. We shouldn't leave it the way it is now. We must dredge the assets, as I've already said. The Chemu Lagoon is there, choked to the brim. And the patient is nowhere to be found. So where do we expect the water to go? And to build on that, as I've also said, there are water outlets within the city. For example, let's go to the Odo area, the Circle Odo area. Look at the mortuary, the mortuary at Circle. What was the thing?
The Awudome Cemetery.
The Awudome. Look in front of the Awudome cemetery. Look at the drain that is there. It's a major drain. It needs to run from Circle to Abosokain and then falls into, and then enters the Udo, and then enters the Kole. You see, you can see that the drain there is atmospheric. And then look at other places coming to Abosokain and to the graphic road. All those places have drains. As a nation now, we need to look at them and reconstruct them, seriously speaking. And not this. The Alajo, for example, we need to reconstruct parts of them. And if we don't sit down as a nation and look at our capital and say, let's put in the money and get it done, we will continue to suffer for it. And even now, when we have subdivided our capital city into several municipalities, they don't have the means. They won't have the means. So we need to look at it from a national point of view and say, hey, let us do this because this is our capital city.
And that was Alfred Oko van der Poy, former mayor of Accra, speaking with my colleague Efwa Evans Chenery about perennial flooding in Accra. Efwa, now there was a project called the Conti Project.
But I like what he said, let us do this because this is the capital city. You heard that?
Well, he was former mayor for how long?
Yeah.
He couldn't do anything about it. So really, Efwa, what was the challenge with the Conti Project?
So let's go straight and check it out. So March 2012, government of Ghana and the Conti Group of companies of the United States of America signed a $660 million agreement for the drainage and sewage project known as the Accra Sanitation Sewer and Storm Water Drainage Alleviation Project. Authorities said the development will control the perennial flooding as well as the sanitation challenges facing Ghana's capital, Accra. The project was aimed at improving stormwater flow, drainage and sewer systems in the Accra metropolitan area with a primary focus on works within the designated flood zones in the Odo Basin and the Kole Lagoon to alleviate the frequent flooding and improve sanitary conditions. The focus was to tackle priority draining needing construction and upgrade drains in the following areas: Odo Upstream, Matayeko, South Kaneshi, South Audome, Onyasia tributaries, Nima Main and Nima tributaries, Sukura, Mampong Drain, and the Industrial Drain. The contract sum was in two folds: a loan agreement of 500 million, yes, between Ghana and USA for the construction of the Accra Sanitary Sewer and Storm Water Drainage Alleviation Works project, and a loan agreement of 125 million between Ghana and Standard Chartered Bank for the construction of the Accra Sewer and Storm Water Drainage Alleviation Works project. In June 2013, former Mayor Alfred Oko van der Poy, who we just spoke, he said Accra will never be the same again as the project commenced. In May 2019, World Bank supports Ghana with $200 million under the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project to tackle the flooding menace. In June 2020, Oko van der Poy discloses that they could not access the
$63 million
loan facility because of Ghana's involvement with the IMF. Hence, the Conti could not materialize. So
another lost hope.
Of course, another lost hope. Another lost hope.
Man, we are hoping that next year we don't come back here, talking about this same topic.
Same thing
losing
over
lives,
and over
people
again.
being displaced. We hope
That is
not.
our thing. Hope not.
You're watching MX24 News live, coming to you from the Silicon Square here in East Legon and Accra. When we return from the break, we'll discuss security.
Really good.
They'll go with a 4-4-2 diamond formation for that early lead.
An early goal will settle the nerves.
The away team has been in bad form. They will feel the pressure.
The home sides kept 2 clean sheets in a row.
It's all about momentum.
Who will have the stamina to last the 90 minutes?
The star striker is suspended.
They've got no kappa.
The marking will be tight.
This will be won or lost in the midfield.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway, for the love of the game.
Hello viewers, I'm feeling very frustrated and bored in Sambulai. I'm very happy. If you don't understand, don't worry, because myself, I don't understand. In this addition, Vodafone Ghana has now made it possible to send money from Vodafone Cash to all network free. We will cross over to our senior reporter for more details.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in front
Emily yet make a block. I'm not funny, I just said. Vodafone, I'm not quite said. Ultimate Sanisika to Topia, Emily to Topia. I got all the network. I will check up with Simon. Diamond for
Fifia, Matendo says, don't you put on charges, Manome. Joe, you bro, charges on your wumlo, and the harmonium. A beer says, do the heart, charges or Clandine.
Hanning and me fanning on me. He said, Amanika charges me, no charges. I met G. Naka charges, when we know, money cafe in the BP. Oh, and for the oh,
for me, I do a lot of online transactions. I think I see it. See, the excitement for me is that I get to save a lot on Vodafone cash.
Please put me down.
I'm so excited. I can now send money to all networks without any charges.
Me ye jediniba. A bribia says me chia me juma ye fokan. Sika me chia se charges no. And do do. Nanso say dear. Me da Vodafone cash.
Sending money on Vodafone cash to all networks is now free. Send any amount of money as many times as you like to all networks for free. Dial *110# now to send money.
Any amount for Masumo. Studio 2. Put him in car. And yeah, we saw mommy.
This is the red news. Apologize.
The future is exciting. Ready?
No, this is not business as usual. This is a different kind of business. From the global stock market to our central bank to insights on insurance and investment, Spotlight is the show for you. Here, we look beyond the numbers. On Spotlight, we'll tell you the complexity behind the figures. On Spotlight, we examine hardcore financial issues. Join me, Philip Nanfuri, on MX24, together with policymakers and experts as we talk business.
Welcome back to MX24 News live from the Silicon Square here in East Legon with me, Godwin Nambo. We will be discussing security now with the 2020 elections about 50 days away. There are growing security concerns after the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority seized 436 pistols and 26 packs of 50 pieces of ammunition and pepper spray at the Tema Port last Friday. A statement signed by Florence Asante, the Assistant Commissioner in charge of Communication and Public Affairs, said the items were imported without the necessary permits from the Interior Ministry. This is very interesting.
Interesting.
To even go more into it,
I was telling you about the woman who was asking whether there will be guns at the various police stations because they fear that somebody might hide a gun, in their pocket or something, and then
we pray not. We pray not. But since it's security, we are discussing it, and let's stay a bit longer on this. Over the weekend, some unknown assailants attacked family members of Takwa Nsuayem MP, Member of Parliament George Miriku Duka. Two members of his family are said to have suffered severe cutlass wounds. Here is an interview with, do we have the interview with our regional correspondents? No, we don't have the interview. That's fine. But let's discuss the security, matters.
Attack over the weekend.
And I got some two comments on social media before you go to it.
Right.
Now, this one says, there's more that the police can do to protect citizens. If for nothing at all, they should become more visible. It's very interesting. The second comment is the security agencies, especially Ghana Police Service, are gradually losing the battle against these vices. This constant decline is leading to a latter that's very worrying and disastrous from Strange World on
Okay, so more visible
Twitter.
means that he would want to see them around.
Exactly.
More often. That's what he's trying to say. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the
trends.
Yes. So on Friday, October 9, 2020, Eko Kwalisa Hayford, MPP Member of Parliament from Fantiman, was shot dead in a robbery attack. On Friday, October 9, 2020, NIA officer killed after gunmen attacked a National Peace Council delegation at a district in the northern region. On Saturday, September 12, 2020, University of Ghana Law lecturer Professor Yalbene killed in his East Legon residence. Thursday, September 10, 2020, Kumawood actor Andrew Intu Mensah shot dead in robbery attack. Saturday, September 5, 2020, very sad, 10-year-old murdered by unknown assailant at Tema. You heard that one? Very sad, yeah. And she was with her mother at the market, and she had to go home alone, and then the mother came back home, found her dead. That's very sad. Yes, and moving on, Friday, July 17, 2020, landlord stabs tenant to death, injured wife at Mahian in Accra over scuffle. Monday, July 13, 2020, 28-year-old graduate teacher trainee murdered at Banda in voter registration brawl. On Monday, May 25, 2020, Ofanko landlord shoots and kills tenant over unpaid rent. Sunday, March 1, 2020, Sogakope assemblyman killed in his home by unknown assailants. Tuesday, February 4, 2020, 37-year-old nurse murdered in Sewia in the Ashanti region. Wednesday, August 28, 2019, 2 police officers shot dead by unknown assailants at Kaswa, Bujumbura. Wednesday, January 16, 2019, Ahmed Swale shot dead by unknown assailant. On Sunday, January 13, 2019, Tema Port Public Affairs Manager Josephine Asante murder at Tema Residence. We never heard of this. Remember
Tema
Josephine?
Port Public
Yeah,
Affairs Manager.
Tema Port.
Yes.
Yeah, the lady who was murdered after returning from a party at night. Yeah. Sunday, January 21, 2019, cop killed in robbery attack at Kwabenya Police Station. Thursday, March 13, 2014, former manager of Kwakasi Fenekotri murdered at Manet Residence. Saturday, October 10, 2020, MP for Takonsuyayem George Mekuduka flee for cover after family come under attack in chieftaincy dispute. Saturday, October 10, 2022, dead. Others injured in bloody clash involving police night patrol team. So, Godwin, these are some of the various, attacks that we've had in the past.
These are rather disturbing.
Yeah, very, very disturbing.
We don't know whether there is a state of insecurity, whether we can confirm that there's a state of insecurity. But we'll be speaking with Colonel Festus Abuaji, who is on the line to tell us where we stand in terms of security. Colonel, good evening, if you can hear me.
Yeah, good evening, Godwin, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Colonel, should we be worried about the trend of events?
Well, we should be, because tragic losses of life are very disturbing. And the crime of murder has a terrorism effect. It is not in the numbers of, let's say, murders, but the perception that, society is not safe, is not secure. Then again, when you have them in quick order, so within a short space of time, you have so many incidents, not only murders, but armed robberies and other violent attacks. They all help to create the impression or the perception that the society is not too secure. So we need to be worried. But in the absence of very firm police crime data or statistics, it's a bit difficult to have a logical, debate. For instance, as of now in 2020, how many robberies, how many murders, how many of what other crimes have taken place? That will help us, or would have helped us, to do a comparative analysis of the 600 or so murders that occurred, let's say, in 2017, and then the 500 or so murders that occurred in 2018. But the police is not helping. Ministry of Interior is not helping with crime statistics. We cannot find the data on how many types of crimes are occurring in this country. But trust me, if you Google South Africa crime statistics, you see a very tall list, hundreds of PowerPoint slides of crime in South Africa disaggregated in many shapes and forms. So we need that crime stats to have an informed debate. So if crime or the murders that have taken place in 2020, let's say, happen to be far less than 2019 or 2018, then we could have that debate that, look, let's be a bit calm. Yes, murders are occurring, but they are not as bad as, were previously the case. So that is the first point that I wish to make. But the nature of the crime, these armed robberies, before one ends, you have another story that a certain MC or MDC has been attacked somewhere in the north when he was visiting, flooded areas and that kind of stuff. Just in the wake of the murder of an MP. So we keep adding to the list of the unresolved murders, if I should put it that way. Dating back to, let's say, 2014. About 5, 6, maybe 7 that, the state has no clue as to who perpetrated those crimes, including the 3 or 4 tardy girls, which to my mind has not been closed yet.
Colonel, be it as it may, we've heard some rumors, permit me to say, about how some of these robbery attacks on our highways happen right after a police checkpoint. Now, what, in your view, is accounting for all these security challenges we're having?
Well, if the police checkpoint is only a static checkpoint manned by 2, 3, 4, whatever the number of police officers are, I want to assume in the first instance that they will have some form of communication to their districts and other levels of police stations. But assuming that they don't have a vehicle stationed at that checkpoint, if you came and informed them about some robbery taking place close to where the checkpoint is, they might not be able to react, and it might not be advisable for the police to jump into civilian-type vehicles, assuming, to respond to a crime. They can't do that, but it all depends on the circumstances. So the debate is about, fundamentally, police resources, police capacity, police numbers. Now, I've been arguing that on the assumption that we are 30 million Ghanaians, for instance, per the UN standard of 1 to 500, we should be talking of 60,000 police officers. I am told that we have about 37 or 35,000. So if you use 37,000, there's a shortfall of 23,000 police officers before you make the UN mark. Now, the UN mark by itself is a useless statistic. You now need to contextualize it to the country, make it specific. So in a country like ours, where road communication is not good, telephone...
Hello, Colonel. Colonel.
So I'm just being informed that we have...
we seem to be having some technical challenges with Colonel. We'll take a quick break here. We'll be right back. You're watching MX24 News. When we return, business is up next.
You get gold without digging.
Tired of you trying to get rid of me every chance that you get.
My camp is in the trash.
I've worked very hard to get you, Francis, and you know that.
Because I don't deserve you. I didn't think you could handle it.
Sleeping with another man in my bed and you're telling me it's not your fault.
Pray I'll never need your services.
A perfect world where love doesn't blind all truth.
I'm getting married this weekend.
Don't touch me. Don't you ever touch me. See you. Have your way with me. You use me as usual. You have...
Hey!
Are they connected?
I'm not sure.
All over the world, young people like you and I are making great change.
3 presidents have been to this ungrateful party.
Bakassi here wants power, but he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. Your campaign has been saddled with a lot of issues and it won't survive another scandal.
Is there something I should know? I want to know Anagoma.
She's only doing something we're all afraid to do.
Anaba, so what kind of lessons are we putting out there for our youngsters?
Most of us don't even know what we want until it hits us in the face.
Every single time he comes around, she just turns into this emotional, wishy-washy, love-struck thing.
That is exactly what she needs.
You're president for 8 years. You make me president for another 8. You rule for 16 years. You continue. What you didn't finish. You build your legacy. You have your way with me. You use me as usual.
Are you going after a man who has championed your political career to this point? A man who got you sponsors to back your ambitions?
What the hell?
Hey! Don't! Just need to speak. It's a blatant disregard for due process, Charlotte. And I'm not having it.
No, this is not business as usual. This is a different kind of business. From the global stock market to our central bank to insights on insurance and investment, Spotlight is the show for you. Here, we look beyond the numbers. On Spotlight, we'll tell you the complexity behind the figures. On Spotlight, we examine hardcore financial issues. Join me, Philip Nanfuri, on MX24, together with policymakers and experts as we talk business.
Watching the evening news on MX24. Emmanuel Ayew is standing by with the latest in the world of business. Kwabena, what's happening?
Well, the managing director of CalBank is calling for a robust framework to tackle cyber fraud. I mean, you know, Ghana recorded about 5% increase in cyber fraud cases, and so they are looking at trying to create a safe space for the financial sector.
Take us away.
Well, you're still watching MX24 News. My name is Kwabena Ayew. It's time for business. Now, coming up, Managing Director of CalBank, Philip Oredu, calls for a robust regulatory framework to tackle cyber threats. Also coming up, international oil giant Chevron Corporation to lay off 15% of its workforce in Texas. Now to the details. Managing Director of CalBank, Philip Oredu, has underpinned the crucial need for stringent cybersecurity measures in the wake of increasing vulnerabilities of the financial sector to cyber attacks. According to reports, Ghana recorded about 5% increase in cyber fraud cases in 2020. Now, speaking at the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, Philip Oredu called for a robust regulation to provide a safe cybersecurity ecosystem for the financial sector in Ghana.
Financial institutions are rapidly deploying remote systems and network to support staff, working from home, whilst criminals are also taking advantage of increased security vulnerabilities to steal data, generate profits, and cause disruption. Digital transformation is no longer a journey. Digital dependence is a new normal. This has entirely changed our risk posture as organizations and the financial service sector require a whole new approach to cyber and information protection. Cyber security threats are going to intensify, and we as the financial service sector and the banking sector, do have a responsibility to ensure that we protect all our stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Now let's do some more stories. American multinational energy giant Chevron Corporation has announced plans to lay off 15% of the entire workforce in its company's Houston office in Texas in the United States. It is expected that about 700 employees of the corporation will be affected as the company embarks on cost-cutting program. These layoffs comes at a time when the international oil industry has been negatively affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, according to a Bloomberg report, crude prices for the first time dropped below zero since 1946 in April 2020. With the pandemic bringing the economy to a standstill, there was so much unused oil slashing around the American energy companies as they ran out of storage for it. Now it's time to hit the financial market as we look at the performance of the cedi against the major trading currencies. Now, as at the close of business day, the US dollar was selling at 5 cedis 70 pesos. Also within that same range, buying at 5.7. Also the pound sterling was selling at 7.41 and also buying within that same range, 7.41. The euro enjoyed some relative stability, selling for 6.74, but with a decline for the buying price of 6.74. The Japanese yen also selling at 0.054 within that same figure, also enjoying some stability within that. Let's look at the commodities market also. The gold prices witnessing a hike of 5.70 within that, selling at $1,932 per ounce. Also the cocoa prices, bad news for the cocoa industry there, witnessing a decline of negative 1.0, selling per metric ton at $2,431. Also crude prices, the COVID-19 continues to impact the oil industry with a negative 0.47 decline, selling per barrel at $42.38. Well, for the investors and the financial sector, these are the figures to rely on in case you want to transact businesses. And so that is for the business segment of MX24 News. Benedict is on standby with sport.
Well, we are talking about the Black Stars. This afternoon they played a game against Qatar, which was second international friendly after playing Mali, which they lost by 3 goals. So we'll talk about that also. Jordan, and you won an award over the weekend, and then some bit of boxing news. So you're still watching MX24 News. My name is Benedict. So we go straight into our stories. And the Black Stars produced a fine performance to win the 2022 World Cup with Qatar. A big defeat in Turkey. 2 assists from a new Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey as the team won by 5 goals.
We seem to be having some technical challenges with sound. We'll fix it shortly. You're watching MX24 News Live, coming to you from the Silicon Square here in East Legon. We'll return shortly after this break.
No, this is not business as usual. This is a different kind of business. From the global stock market to our central bank to insights on insurance and investment. Spotlight is the show for you. Here, we look beyond the numbers. On Spotlight, we'll tell you the complexity behind the figures. On Spotlight, we examine hardcore financial issues. Join me, Philip Nanfuri, on MX24, together with policymakers and experts as we talk business.
Can you get gold without digging?
I'm tired of you trying to get rid of me every chance that you get.
My camp is in the trash. I've worked very hard to get you, Francis, and you know that. Because I don't deserve you. I didn't think you could handle it. Sleeping with another man in my bed and you're telling me it's not your fault.
Pray I'll never need your services. A perfect world where love doesn't blind all truth.
I'm getting married this weekend.
Don't touch me. Don't you ever touch me. See you. Have your way with me. You use me as usual. Do you have a plan? Hey! Don't!
Are they connected?
You're watching MX24 News Live. Benedict is standing by, still with the latest in sports.
Thank you very much, Gideon. Now, we're going to our very first story, and the Black Stars produced a fine performance to win the 2022 World Cup host Qatar. A big defeat in taking out 2 assists from new Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey inspired Ghana to a 5-1 win over Qatar in an international friendly which was played earlier today. And as you can see on your screen, the highlights of the game, and of course Ghana playing in their new kits, away kits, all yellow in there, with Tariq Fusu scoring the first goal, being embraced by Ayew and Thomas Partey. So this was after Ghana lost their very first international friendly to Mali, which was played on Friday, and another chance that was the equalizer which the Qatar team scored in the first half. And Ayew in the second half made sure he put Ghana in the lead of Samuel Owusu, getting another goal for the Black Stars after that wonderful assist from Arsenal new boy Thomas Partey. What a goal that was, beating the goalkeeper at the near post there. And another one coming from Ayew. Great play there by Gideon Mensah, who was not on top of his game in the first game against Mali. This time, played some delightful football, making sure the Swansea City player got his second on the day to make it 4. And the last goal, again, from the man Ayew. All right, so Ghana won by 5-1. First win for Black Stars. Coach CK Akono will see how that will go. Remember, they have another game that will be played next month. It is an Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. Well, away from that, we still stay with one player of the team. Jordan Ayew played a big part of that game. And over the weekend, he was adjudged as the Sports Writers Association of Ghana Male Footballer of the Year. Now, he beat off competition from Arsenal new boy Thomas Partey and China-based Mubarak Wakasu for the award.
I'm really, really happy. I'm lucky as well. And I said I want to thank my family for supporting me since day one, for having believed in me, and obviously my fans in Ghana, my fans in Paris, my fans all over the world. I want to thank them for their support and they believe they've had in me since day one. So today I'm very grateful, and it gives me more desire to do more, to work extra hard, and obviously to keep going and to get higher and higher and see where it will take me
Okay. All right, so that's it for sports. I'm Benedict Owusu. We are back after this. Don't go away.
Thank you very much, Benedict, for that. Now, that was a beautiful game by the Black Stars indeed. Chichi is also standing by. My colleague, MFA Chichi, is standing by for entertainment news.
Right, thank you, Godwin. A lot has been happening in the entertainment world. To our very first news, reggae dancehall act Stonebwoy has wowed his fans with his latest innovation, Beam Sound Activated T-shirt. Yes, the Beam president launched his Beam merchandise and opened his Beam shop in Ashaiman months ago. Now he has introduced a design T-shirt to display LED lights when it detects the sound beam. So just by saying beam, the T-shirt is activated. That's interesting. Now, according to Stonebwoy, he's impressed by the patronage of the T-shirt so far, and he's so happy people are patronizing it. Well, I can't wait. I so can't wait to have my Beam T-shirt and rock it. Now, in case you don't know, Michael Blackson is in town, and he's not just in town, but he has started building schools in his hometown. That's interesting. The US-based comedian shared a video of his social media page with some children at a construction site, telling them that he's building a school for them, and he hopes to finish it by the end of next year. That's very, very impressive, Michael. It's all about giving back to society, you know. Meanwhile, Canadian rapper Tory Lanez has been charged with shooting Megan Thee Stallion. If you remember, in July, the two had an argument at Hollywood Hills while riding in an SUV as Stallion exited the vehicle. Lanez allegedly shot her feet. Although Lanez denies allegations, Stallion insists that he shot her. Lanez faces 1 felony count each of assault with semi-automatic firearm, personal use of a firearm, and carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in the vehicle. The rapper will be arraigned tomorrow. He faces a possible maximum sentence of 22 years and 8 months in state prison. Well, I don't know if we want Lanez to be in jail because we love his song, but justice must prevail. And that's it for entertainment today. Thanks for watching. Godwin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chichi, for that update. I can't wait to get my Beam T-shirt as well. And that's it for tonight's edition of MX24 News. We came your way from the Silicon Square here in East Legon. My colleague, MFA Chichi, Benedict, and Efwa Evans Chinnery came your way with the news tonight. Remember, we're very active on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at MX24GH. Until then, good night.